Hi, everyone. Here's the quick recording on manifest determination that you had all asked me to make. So case law for manifest determination, it started in 1988 when the Supreme Court agreed that students couldn't be expelled for behavior that was related to their disabilities, but that you could suspend students for up to 10 days. And those short-term disciplinary measures in 1989, they said those are not changes in placements. In 1994, they realized they needed to say that when the misbehaviors that are happening can be shown to be caused by their disabilities, the schools had to make reasonable efforts to accommodate them and reduce the likelihood of injury. But if the student poses substantial risk of injury to themselves or others, they could still be removed from the school. And in 1994, they said it wasn't just suspending students for up to 10 days. It included cumulative suspension so that people weren't just suspending 10 days, 10 days, 10 days. So the language regarding manifest determination, first of all, it always has to be done on a case-by-case determination. So whenever a student is suspended or expelled, they need to look at that student individually. So they can't be comparing to other students, other situations like that when they decide what to do. Okay. For the Code of Student Conduct, the students with disabilities are subject to some of the same code of conducts as non-disabled students. So they can be removed to an inappropriate IAES, an itinerant alternate educational setting, another setting, or suspended for not more than 10 school days. And then additional removals of not more than 10 consecutive school days during the school year for other incidents, as long as those removals do not constitute a change of placement. So for changes in placement exceeding 10 school days for behavior that is not a manifestation of the disability, then the same disciplinary action can be applied in the same manner and for the same duration. So if during that manifest determination hearing, it's determined that the behavior that happened or the incident that happened was not a manifestation of their disability, then those students can still be expelled or suspended for longer than 10 school days. However, if that happens, the child is still must receive all of their educational services that will enable progress towards IEP goals, including, as appropriate, an FBA and behavior intervention services and modifications. So even if their behavior wasn't a manifestation of their disability and they are expelled, they still must receive FAPE. They still must receive a free and appropriate public education. If after a child's been removed for 10 days in the same school year and the current removal is not for more than 10 consecutive school days and is not a change of placement, in consultation with at least one of the child's teachers, you have to determine the extent to which services are needed for the child to continue to participate in the general education curriculum and progress towards IEP goals. So a teacher needs to be involved in that process. So when you're having a manifestation determination hearing, within 10 days of a decision to change the child's placement, the LEA, which is the local education authority, so the school or district, parents and relevant IEP team members, they have to look at everything. So IEPs, observations, information provided by parents, in order to determine if the conduct was caused by or had a direct and substantial relationship to a child's disability, or was a direct result of the LEA's failure to implement the IEP. So it may be that the behavior wasn't a direct cause of their disability, but because the district had not implemented the IEP or implemented it correctly, you can show that that's why this behavior occurred. If either instance applies, then the conduct is considered a manifestation of the disability. So then, if it's determined to be a manifestation of the child's disability, then the team has to either conduct an FBA, a functional behavioral assessment, if it wasn't already done, and implement a behavior intervention plan, or review the previous plan for remediation if the student had one, but then an incident occurred, because it's possible that that plan was not effective. And two, except where violations involve weapons, drugs, or serious bodily injury, return the child to the previous placement unless both the parents and the district agree to a change of placement as part of a modification of the behavior intervention plan. So please note, when there are serious violations, including serious bodily injury, weapons, or drugs, in that case, the child can be moved to an alternate interim educational placement. The IEP determines that that interim alternate educational setting for a change of placement that would exceed 10 consecutive school days where the behavior is not a manifestation of the disability. So oftentimes you'll see districts have alternative schools, alternative settings, and that's often where kids with disabilities who are removed when their behavior is not shown to be a manifestation of the disability, they have those schools, and then that allows the child to continue to receive their appropriate FAPE. Also, the LEA needs to look on a case-by-case basis that a pattern of removals constitutes a change of placement. So if they're seeing that there's a lot of children being removed and changed for violations involving weapons, drugs, or serious bodily injury, the LEA, the district also has to determine that. Okay, and that's just a quick overview of manifest determination. Hopefully that gives you a little more insight. Probably the most important things to remember is that you need to look really carefully at whether or not that behavior was a manifestation of the disability. It gets trickier when you have kids with learning disabilities to show that manifestation. Often when you have kids with severe behavior disorders or emotional disturbance, generally in cases like that, it's often pretty easy to show that problem behavior is a manifestation of the of the disability. Now, just because something is a manifestation of the disability, it doesn't mean that you might not then go on and say, hey, this may not be the least restrictive environment for this student. But before you make that change of placement, you really need to look at, are the appropriate supports and services in place? Do we have a BIP that is actually working for this child? Do we need to create a BIP, or do we need to look at that BIP and try making some changes and see if that allows the child to be more successful? Okay, have a great day. Thanks.